Heyo! I had a really weird dream last night, but I can't really remember what it was apart from the fact that, the pendulum in my university science building was swinging the wrong way or something. I don't even know. So instead, I'm going to tell you the story of the dream I had 3 nights ago, but didn't have time to record until today. So it started with me at some sort of convention, like a Comic-Con or a VidCon, and I'm not entirely sure what it was, but I think it was a YouTube convention, because that's what my brain was saying. And I spent the beginning of the dream just kind of running around, because apparently I was working there or volunteering, I'm not entirely sure which, and I ran into a lot of people, literally. Because in this dream, I appeared to be even shorter than I already am, and everybody else was, frickin' giant, and I couldn't even see anything because it was just this sea of people all over all the time. The weird thing, though, was this convention seemed to take place on these Y-shaped platforms in the middle of the ocean that rose about 20 stories above sea level. And after a long time of just running into people, I finally smashed into this guy who was tall, but not as tall as everybody else, and blonde. And he was a nice guy. In the context of the dream, apparently, I knew him. But the thing that stood out about this guy was he had those blue eyes that are, so pale, and it was because he was blind. And we'd apparently known each other for a while, because apparently he was in love with me. I don't know why. And he found me, and it was fun, and blah blah blah. We had a good time just kind of running around, going swimming, because we were on this platform in the middle of the ocean. And for some reason, before I knew it, it was time for us to go home. So I got on a plane and I flew back to my home. And when I got to the airport, I looked at this little panel on the wall that was shaped like a map of the United States. And each state was a button. And for some reason, I knew that this panel was a teleportation device. And despite the fact that this guy didn't have an accent, for some reason I knew that he was from Mississippi. And I decided I was going to go see him while I was at the airport. So I pressed the button for Mississippi, and before I knew it, pow! I was there, sliding down a water slide to get to the bottom of the airport. So I got there just as he arrived, and he gave me a big hug. And for some reason in this dream I was part siren, whatever that meant. I guess something to do with beautiful mermaids singing and magical powers. And because he was from Mississippi, he called me Mississippi Song instead of my name. So while he was giving me this big hug in the teleportation bay area, I was telling him that his family wouldn't approve of me because his family was like Southern royalty. He told me that it didn't matter and took me to see them anyway. That's always a good idea. When we got to this house that this very wealthy family lived in, it looked like a set from the Titanic. It was absolutely gorgeous. There was ornate gold leafing on the wooden panels and stuff all throughout the house, and it was just gorgeous. And this is just some random place my brain came up with in a dream. And like I guessed, his mom did not like me, because I'm just a normal kid, and they wanted him to marry some other Southern royalty girl instead of just a normal kid like me. So this made the blind blonde boy, who was of some sort of love interest to me, very angry. And because my brain has no problem mixing science fiction and fantasy into the exact same dream, this guy suddenly erupted fiery wings out of his back and burst into flames and started flying high above the very grand mansion that his family lived in. And apparently I joined him, because suddenly I was on fire up in the air as well, which was kind of fun and kind of scary. And there was something to do with bow down before the witch and wizard right before my alarm went off and I woke up, but I don't really quite remember what it was. I just remember there was a lot of fire and flying, which was fun. But then my alarm went off and I woke up. Lucky for me, though, I didn't have anything to do that day, so I was able to just turn my alarm off and roll over onto my other side and go back to bed. Over the next hour or so that I got to sleep in, I had a dream that danisnotonfire, this one, turned me into a vampire, which was actually pretty funny. And yeah, that was the dream I had 3 nights ago. I hope this kind of entertained you in some way, knowing that my brain makes no sense while I'm asleep. And I can pretty much promise that there will be more videos like this in the future, so yay! If you liked this video in any way and you want to see more of me just talking about how my brain doesn't make any sense, you can click the button down below that will let you subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my videos. If you want to just hear about random things that happen during my day, you can follow me on Twitter or Tumblr. And I'll see you later, dreamers!